What's up, everybody? It's David, your travel guide. Today we're diving into some seriously intense stuff. We're talking about the most dangerous countries in the entire world. I'm talking about places most people wouldn't step foot in, you know? This is going to be wild, eye-opening, and maybe even a little scary. Let's jump right into it. First up, we've got Syria, a country that has seen more than its fair share of turmoil and devastation over the past decade. Once a land of rich history and culture, Syria now stands as a stark reminder of the horrors of war. Man, this one is heavy. The faces of the people tell a story of unimaginable suffering and loss. You can see the weight of the world in their eyes, the uncertainty of what tomorrow might bring. For years, Syria has been torn apart by a brutal civil war. This conflict has pitted neighbor against neighbor, and has seen the rise of various factions, each vying for control. The streets that once bustled with life are now battlegrounds, echoing with the sounds of gunfire and explosions. We're talking about constant fighting, bombings, it's just chaos over there. The infrastructure has been decimated, and the once thriving cities are now ghost towns, filled with the remnants of what used to be. The air is thick with smoke and the scent of destruction. Civilians are caught in the crossfire, millions have fled their homes. It's a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions. Families are torn apart, children are left orphaned, and the elderly are left to fend for themselves in a world that has turned upside down. Refugee camps are overflowing and resources are stretched thin. Imagine living in a place where you never know if you'll make it through the day. It's heartbreaking. The resilience of the Syrian people is nothing short of remarkable, but the toll this war has taken on them is evident in every face, every story. They live in constant fear, yet they continue to hope for a better future, a future where peace is not just a distant dream but a reality. Next, we're heading over to Afghanistan. This country has been through so much turmoil, it's hard to even grasp. After decades of conflict and political instability, the Taliban recently took control again. The situation there is incredibly volatile. There are serious concerns about human rights, especially for women and girls. It's a really tough situation with no easy answers. South Sudan is another country grappling with immense challenges. Since gaining independence in 2011, they've been plagued by a brutal civil war. We're talking widespread violence, famine, and millions displaced from their homes. The stories coming out of South Sudan are just devastating. It's a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict. Iraq is a country that's been forever marked by conflict. After the US-led invasion in 2003, Iraq has struggled to achieve stability. Terrorist groups like ISIS have wreaked havoc, and sectarian violence continues to plague certain regions. It's a country trying to rebuild, but the scars of war run deep. Somalia is often cited as one of the most dangerous countries in the world, and for good reason. Decades of conflict have left the country without a functioning central government. Piracy has flourished off its coast, and terrorist groups like Al-Shabaab control large swaths of territory. It's a place where lawlessness reigns supreme. The Central African Republic is another country ravaged by violence and instability. Armed groups control much of the country, and civilians are caught in the crossfire. There are horrific stories of human rights abuses, and the humanitarian situation is dire. It's a forgotten crisis that deserves far more attention. Yemen is a country on the brink of collapse. Once known for its rich history and vibrant culture, Yemen is now synonymous with suffering and despair. The streets that were once bustling with life are now eerily quiet, marked by the scars of war. The aerial views reveal a landscape that has been ravaged by conflict, with entire neighborhoods reduced to rubble. A brutal civil war, fueled by regional powers, has created one of the worst humanitarian crises in the world. This conflict, which began in 2015, has pitted the Houthi rebels against the internationally recognized government, drawing in neighboring countries and global superpowers. The result has been catastrophic. Millions are facing starvation, disease is rampant, and the healthcare system is on the verge of collapse. The war has displaced millions, forcing families to flee their homes and seek refuge in overcrowded camps where basic necessities are scarce. The infrastructure is in ruins. Schools, hospitals, and homes have been destroyed by relentless bombings. The once thriving cities now resemble ghost towns with crumbling buildings and deserted streets. The destruction of infrastructure has made it nearly impossible for humanitarian aid to reach those in need, exacerbating the crisis. The images coming out of Yemen are truly heartbreaking. Children, who should be playing and learning, are instead struggling to survive. Malnutrition has left many of them weak and vulnerable to disease. Families are torn apart, with parents desperately trying to provide for their children amidst the chaos. The emotional and psychological toll on the Yemeni people is immense, as they endure the daily horrors of war. It's a stark reminder of the devastating human cost of conflict. The international community has a moral obligation to act, to provide aid and support to the Yemeni people, and to work towards a peaceful resolution to this crisis. The resilience and strength of the Yemeni people in the face of such adversity is a testament to the human spirit, but they cannot do it alone. They need our help, our compassion, and our commitment to ending this humanitarian catastrophe. Wow guys, that was heavy stuff. We just delved into some really intense topics that are affecting so many people around the world. It's hard not to feel the weight of it all, isn't it? It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the amount of suffering in the world, especially when we're constantly bombarded with news stories that highlight the worst of humanity. From natural disasters to social injustices, it can sometimes feel like there's no end to the bad news. But it's important to stay informed and use our voices to advocate for change. Remember, awareness is the first step towards action. By staying informed, we can better understand the issues at hand and find ways to contribute positively. Whether it's through participating in protests, supporting activists, or simply having meaningful conversations with those around us, every little bit helps. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this video. Your feedback is incredibly valuable and helps us create content that resonates with you. What topics would you like us to cover next? How do you stay informed and engaged with the world around you? Share your thoughts, and let's start a conversation. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more travel content. We aim to bring you stories that not only inform, but also inspire you. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay safe out there.